Hello folks, Rever here with another episode of Grazyland. And I came in here under the moonlight at 11:59, and I wanted to show you the little timer up there. If you see in the very top right, see how it says soil mod 5% now? So this is when the soil mod allows the farm growth to update. I think you may have seen it before, but just in case you didn't know what that one was sitting up there, you can see now the grass just grew right in front of me. If I hit Shift I and we look at growth, see now that's fully grown. A minute ago it wouldn't have been. And if we wait a minute here and let it keep going, we'll see the other fields turn a deeper shade of blue. See if we hit it now. Not quite yet. A lot of times you can intercept them right in the middle of it. I wish the regular farm sim would do the same thing. Just be nice to know there. I don't know if you can see field 5 has got darker blue band at the top. And so it'll proceed from the north to the south. So there we go. That was about it. I want to fast forward time a little bit more, and I'll come right back and officially start the episode. I'll be on the spreadsheet, and I think I'm going to start a trend towards starting, with the spreadsheet. That way we can kind of see what the plan is for the day. You guys can go back and, if you want to look at it again as I go through whatever I do for the remainder of the day. So I'll try to avoid going back to the spreadsheet too many times. And then I'll probably show the spreadsheet at the end of each day, even if that's more than one episode, depending on how things break down. So at some point there's only so much spraying I can show and planting crops, but in any event, we'll see what is exciting's happening in a few hours. Alright, see you guys in a second. Alright guys, I'm back, and we are looking at the spreadsheet, and I'm going to try to do this for each of the videos and just run through the field. So most of this stuff is just stuff I copied over, so for now we're really not going to pay too much attention to it, though I do want to plant barley in this field. And I sprayed herbicide, so that AA should give us 3 days, because we're not going to plant this field until Friday. So if you look, these blue will be on Friday. So same here. I'm going to plant wheat in field number 13. And again, we're not going to plant it till Friday. So as time gets closer now, field 13 was kind of the lost field. So what I want to do is I will spray some herbicide in there to get us through tomorrow. Even though there's no crops on it, I don't want the moisture and whatnot to fall off where the weeds are at. So, and the nitrogen and it acts like grass almost, where it takes PK, and well, I'm not sure of that. It does affect your nutrients even if you just let it go. I'm not sure if it follows the regular trend or like grass where it takes one of each thing away. We can find out later if we want on some of these other fields. All right, so field 2 was going to be a day 1 crop, and it was, but I want to move it and combine it with field 5. I think we talked about this stuff before, and you can see we've sprayed various things over the last few days, so we're getting close to the last spraying that we'll need will be this NPK, and that should get us right to this point right here, which is in my score. Again, it's not necessarily a percentage. It will end up being a pretty good crop. You always want to try to get your PK at 4. We're a little high on the nitrogen, but that won't kill us according to our score there. Now, field 5, same deal. And part of the reason is there because of our little lime spreading / spraying experiment, if you remember that, on field 2 here, where we weren't sure if spreading the lime or spraying the lime added moisture, which it didn't do. So even though we waited till Tuesday to spray it, that kind of let field 5 catch up, so to speak. So we're going to spread some NPK on that field when we get a chance. And then we'll jump over to field 3, which we just planted yesterday in the game. And that was Wednesday. So we spread water and herbicide, so that gave us 28 moisture. So when we get back to the field, it should be at 57. Our moisture should be good. And then we'll have 2 days in a row of NPK spraying. But in particular, we'll go out there and we'll spray some NPK. So we got a lot of NPK going on. More NPK. Again, these fields, you know, for the most part, will follow each other. You'll see potato fields get off a tiny bit on their nitrogen. Almost said nutrigen. And this is going to be Thursday in the game here. And so that we are going to plant these crops, some sugar beets and some potatoes. And then in field 9, we will do some canola. Field 9 is the field we just bought yesterday, and we sprayed it with just a single dose of herbicide A. And we'll go along canola, 1 cc. We'll spread lime and water because we want to get that moisture back up that we lost that one day. And same basic deal with the potatoes and the sugar beets, except we're going to do herbicide AA, lime and water. And again, field 1, same basic deal, herbicide AA. If you look on the spreadsheet right down here, I have it listed, you know, which ones are good for which. And again, the most important part of that is do not spray C on these crops, do not spray A on these crops, do not spray B, so forth. If the crop is not listed, it will not hurt it. So I've seen people ask, well, what if you have sorghum or any of these other carrots, whatever other crop? If it's not on this list, it won't be killed. Now, the version I'm using may be a little bit old, so you might want to double check with, I know some good information is on FS UK's website. So there you go. So that's those fields. Probably could move all this up, couldn't I? I got a big stupid pink area, but I think that's because of my copy, and I tend to work in this area. So, and if I add a line or something like that, it's just kind of grown over time. And take a last look at the grass field. I don't plan on doing anything. This is Thursday right here. And I just want to see how much we harvest. I kind of want to watch where this harvest bottoms out, and then I want to start doing some things in order to increase things. Now, I had a question from a new subscriber about the spreadsheet itself. So I just wanted to explain, we'll maybe go over to field 12. You know, these numbers, what I did was I color coded everything green here as to where I would fill things out. So if you look, if I put a 3 in here, oh, but in read-only mode, doesn't that stink? Well, I'll come back later. You'll have to trust me. It's in read-only mode. I have it open on the other computer, so in any event, when I put the 3 in here, what the spreadsheet does is it adds up, you know, it adds the 3 to the 4 that's here, so 3 plus 4, but then it comes in here and it takes away 1 because in this growth cycle, let's see, can I double click on that even? No. Well, can I even double click there? Yes. But it doesn't actually show you. Sorry guys, I really need this to not be in read-only mode to do this explanation properly. So let me cut it and get it to not be read-only. Alright guys, there we go. So we're back again. This time it's not read-only. But I can change the numbers here. So if I come up here, I'll just put a 0 in. You don't have to put 0. Blank is the same thing. If you notice, that dropped down. So what it did was it came in here. In order to get, oops, I'm sorry. Let me look at this number. In order to get this number, it took what was here plus what is in here and added it or took away the -1 to get the number. So in other words, you know, 3 plus 0 minus 1 is 2. So if I put a 3 in here, So now I have this number 5. So I added 3, but you'd say, oh, wait a minute. And this is the kind of thing that confuses people, I think, because they sprayed the nitrogen and it's supposed to be 3, but they only have 5. And it's because of this right here. When you go into this cycle, it's going to take the 1 off. So if I came up here, if you look right here, like with where the 4 was, I didn't spray anything, but it came over to here and took away a -1 in this row. So it dropped that down to 3. Now the next day I sprayed a 1 and it added to 4 because it didn't take anything away. Yeah. So I hope that makes some sense there. But the bottom line is it's really pretty simple. These are subtracted from, the numbers here, and each one of these rows I probably could even, probably would have been a little bit clearer if I had put an N, a PK, PH, which is actually backwards there, isn't it? PH, not backwards, but H2O. So in other words, I know that, going into this initial growth phase, we're going to lose 14. Then for whatever reasons of programming or, whatever Decker had in mind, this final growth doesn't take away a moisture, but this one does. So this is the final harvest. So going into the final harvest, that last day, you have to be 1 high plus 1 high. See, so we sprayed 1. We had 4, sprayed 1, lost 1 to calculate to just still be 4, which is exactly what we want on the PK. Now, what it does from there is it goes from here on the 4, and I have this sheet 9 down at the bottom. And it then comes over, looks at the 4, it says, look, 4 is a perfect score, 1, being like 100%. Is the score there. And so this is where I get all the scores from. We'll come back to field 12 there. And you can see, let's hit this final harvest stage where I'm at 4, where there's a bunch of 1s. See, I give myself a 1 for the PK. I give myself a 0.9 for the nitrogen. And that is because if we go to nitrogen 7, that's 0.9. These values here, and I think I may have explained this before, so forgive me, but these values are right from, Decker's comments on FS UK website. And at one point, like I think I've said before, any number that was missing from here, like a value from 15 to 5 is a big gap. He said it's just an even fall. So if here's 5 as a 1, the perfect score, going down to 15, you can see it kind of works out. So, it's just linear right on down. Now again, and that's all of this is then added up. Basically, I'm taking the difference. So, and then multiplying it by 100. So this is 90%. So that's 10. So it's like a -10. This is -2. This is -3. So -2 and 3 is -5 plus -10 gives me a score of 15. So what I'm hoping to do with this grass field, one of the reasons I'm doing all of this is I want to see, obviously on this first day we had 555. So if I can bottom this out and kind of get a 0 number, then what I can start doing is figuring out, do each of these add evenly to the equation? Like, in other words, if everything's kind of, quote, at 0 or close to it, and I raise the PK up to the perfect score of 5, do I all of a sudden, what do I get, a 25% bonus or a 50% bonus? And I should be able to get a good idea of instead of this being a score, this being an actual percentage. I know that probably didn't make a lot of sense, but it is mathematics, and if you look at the spreadsheet, which is downloadable, and if you can follow it, great. If not, just trust me. It's we're working towards figuring out and getting us a percentage, so we'll see. Okay, what's our bonus for this score? Because that would be more meaningful, I think, to a lot of people. So if you're not the world's greatest at math, it's okay. You can, plug your numbers in here. And let me go back to field 12 real quick. What's this stupid thing open? Right here is where I have it. So, and I'm pretty experienced with it, so I don't really mess around. But, what if I spray nitrogen, an extra dose of nitrogen this day? What's going to be the effect? And you can see, well, you're going to get your nitrogen all the way up to 12. You're really only worried about this first harvest stage here. So it brings my score down to 63. Again, I know it's not a percentage of, to tell you exact yield, but 63 is not as good as 90 or whatever we were at. Now let's go back, delete that out. So if we go back, final score of 88. So that's sort of what I do. You could say, well, what if we waited an extra day? Well, waiting an extra day would be good. We'd get up to 93%. But you also lose a whole day's worth of crops grown, which is, in my mind, 25%. So anyway, sorry if I've explained all this before, but I know there's still questions about it, and hopefully maybe this explanation was slightly different and helped some people. So, without further delay, I am going to get over into the fields and start doing some work. So I will meet you back on the farm in a minute. Folks, I'm standing out in field 12. And if you remember from the spreadsheet, field 12 is the first one on the list. So normally what I like to do is go through one field at a time. So you can see where we stand. We have, these weeds look like they're dead. I guess that's because they were fully grown. They're kind of withered now, but they shouldn't be causing us any more harm. And if you notice while I'm standing in here, it's saying that, it's saying weed infestation 12%. So I hope it dies fully. It'd be a little bit different if it didn't. Usually I don't even remember seeing any weeds the next day on the field. But you can also, if you can see the nutrient level is only 3 on the N and 2 on the PK. So if we come far away from that, you'll see we're at 4 and 2. So it's almost like that crop, just looking at the spreadsheet, it went through the first day growth like a normal crop would. So in other words, it didn't do like the grass. So I'm assuming, most of these other spots will probably be the same because the map just started. But when it comes to another field, like all the way over here in this field 14, I'll bet you that some of these crops, because we didn't spray them with herbicide, some of these weeds have grown past that, the first growth stage. And let's see, we got 3 and 2. 3 and 2. It's hard to get a good reading on the weeds, too, just because they don't usually cover a big enough area. Well, and anyway, we'll see if it, if we can find a spot where the PK drops off. The PK would drop off with the second growth cycle, so let's go check this out. In any event, we're not doing anything with field 12, but I thought I'd show you the status of it. And it's usually it's a little unusual for fields just to sit there for me. Obviously, they're not making you money, but I want to get these 2 fields going tomorrow, and that way I don't have too much work on any one day. So we'll hop in the tractor, and I haven't sprayed field 13 with anything yet. So let me turn this on. I already lined it up. It was a foggy morning. I didn't want to record at that point. So if you noticed, I've cut down a lot of trees. And there's a big pile of wood chips. I didn't even bother bringing them back to the farm. I didn't use the beast. I was thinking of being deceptive and YouTube-y, I guess you could call it. But I said, you know what? In real life, I just don't have enough time. Gifts of the Caucasus map is eating up an awful lot of my time. And I want to keep making these videos, and I just thought, you know what? I'm just not dealing with it. So let's hop out real quick, though, and I'll show you. So this field, which we harvested the corn, has 4 and 4. Now I want to make sure you know, I didn't get a boost in nitrogen because I plowed in or cultivated in the stuff. So I want to see, you know, if I go to plant this field, if I get that boost in nitrogen. I don't really want the boost in nitrogen, to be honest, because I'm always spraying 3 and 1, you know, the NPK, and my nitrogen seems to ride up on me. And there's, you know, it starts, you'll see if we play with the numbers that the PK is the bigger issue than anything else. So in any event, I'll get to spray in this field. We don't have any herbicide protection in it, and because I'm going to leave it sit there for a whole day, you know, you can see I already got little weeds growing up. Now these weeds shouldn't affect, you know, it's going to take a day before they affect things. So I am going to jump in here and do my normal spraying thing. I think you guys have seen me record these courses a few times, so I'm not going to show you the whole thing. I might get it started here for a second. And so we got that going, and GPS, let's turn, I'm not sure why that turned off to begin with, but GPS is on, and I will proceed. Like I said, I always like to do my longest, straightest run first. I feel like theoretically, well, that's the most efficient, because if it's not a big rectangular or square field, it's going to give you the most coverage, at least having to spray into the weeds. So yeah, I'll show what I did. I cut every single tree in between these two fields. That way I can chase up that row, and heck, I could even use it as a road. Even when these crops are planted, I can drive down that row, and it takes me straight ahead of us is where the BGM is with the wood chip heating plant, whatever they call it. There you go. So I'm going to spray this. Oh, by the way, the other thing, if I didn't make it clear in the last video, you can take a look at the spreadsheet from earlier. This only costs 50 cents per liter or per whatever, and it costs 3 something for the AA. So while I'm not going to go spraying AA, you know, when I have crops in the field, or I am going to spray AA when I have crops in the field, it just, you know, it's really a lot more money. It's twice, you know, it's twice as much. I mean, I know it saves you some work, but there's some more weeds there. So spraying this should protect our nutrient levels, will remain even. If we ever buy field 14, it'll be a bit of a mess. And I was thinking of even doing just that. So let me get ready here. Stop talking so I can think. It's so nice with no trees. Isn't it? You don't have to worry about hitting stuff. Worth the effort. Even if I didn't use the beast. And the beast is cool. I definitely want to. I'll use the beast on the Gifts of the Caucasus maps if any of you guys want to see that. Like I said, just for this one, it's just a bit too much. It would have taken me 2 days of the time I have to play just to deal with the beast. Swing this guy around. It doesn't matter what we spray on this field because for 2 reasons. One, we're just going to overspray it when we do plant the crops. And 2, it's only going to last a day anyway. So there you go. So I'll keep spraying. I'll come back, you know, at some point here, probably when I refill for the NPK, and then after that I'll spray a couple of the fields. But I'll be back in a second. Guys, I'm done spraying the herbicide in field 13 down here. Oops, can't really point at it. Oh, because I'm not in a tractor, I can't open course play. In any event, we still have A in here, and I have 4 fields that all are going to need NPK. So, just looking at it, those are fields 2, 5, 3, and 4. So now if we come here, I can open that and point with my pointer. So 2, 5, 3, and 4 all need a dose of NPK. And since that is not the most exciting farm work I've ever heard of. I am going to set this guy on his path, I guess. And like I said, I usually try to zoom out thing is the D-pad there. I really need to get in the habit, especially when I'm recording, just using the mouse wheel, even if it takes a half second longer. It doesn't bother me as much. I mean, it's annoying when I do that, but when I'm recording, it's worse. Mix this up. I'm not sure how many fields we get out of this one tank, but in any event, like I said, it's not real exciting to watch. I don't think it's not real exciting to do. And I am just going to course play them anyhow. You know, the course playing's not strictly out of laziness, but I already have the tram lines, and but you know, I might as well leave that closed because he just closes it anyway. So we should have spray 224. Should be able to come over here and hit drive course. And away we go. And again, because my time is precious and this map is on easy mode, I think I'm going to do something else. Let's make sure this guy gets off to a good start. There we go. So he's spraying some NPK. It's the only thing we'll need. Might as well take a look at what this field is. So comparing it to what's on my spreadsheet, when I look at field 2, I may be off a little bit. Oh no, you know, it's because I'm near the edge of the field. That's what's throwing me off. I should be at 5 and 4 according to my spreadsheet. This is saying 6 and 4. So I may have been off on a number to begin with. More often than not, that's my problem. We'll see when we get further into the field here. We'll come back to him. He's obviously spraying well enough. But yeah, see, if I try to do all this, I end up with, like, not tram lines, but roads through the field. Like, I've just decided that, you know, while I like the crop destruction, this guy, the fact this, it's like impossible to find the same line again, even using the GPS mod. It seemed to destroy a lot of extra crops. Like I said, I ended up with dirt trails through there, not just little tram lines. But what I wanted to do was come back over here, and I have a few mods that I really don't buy too often because, what is it, mods? Yeah, just because they're, you know, rather expensive and they're not that much different than the in-game stuff. You know, fancy Deutzfahr, you know, nice case here, Puma. What else do we have? This guy's kind of interesting, isn't he? I want something a little bigger than that, though. So I thought, well, let's just try a mod, and I'm going to set up a separate sprayer, and I'm just going to be able to do twice as many fields at once. You know, not sure. Why don't we go for fancy looking Deutzfahr? Not sure that this is the most realistic sprayer tractor, but we will go back. And I'm still in mods, so I will go to sprayers. And I really need to get the one out of there that I don't like. I think, pretty sure this is the one that I like. Yeah, with the thing on the back there like that. Alright, so let's buy this one. And I need to get that other one out of there, like I just said. Oh, I want to buy one more thing. Should have bought it while I was there. Another OEB weight. Not that he really needs it, but it's not going to hurt him for it to have it. Whatever I got there. So Control E. Let's jump around a bit till we get to him. Of course, he's the last one. Are you kidding me? He really was about the last one, wasn't he? Oops. So, where do I want to put him? I guess group 1 is fine. We almost want to make a sprayer group there, but for now this will work. Looks like I can a better bet to get the weight on first. Alright, how's he look pulling this thing? Let's hop out for a minute. Well, he looks like a nice little black tractor. So you have the... No, I don't think he can't get a front end loader. I don't really care one way or the other about the front end loader for this guy. Let's put a couple 100 pounds or kilograms, whatever they are, on him. I don't think that's going to hurt. And we need to go back down to the farm and get some... Sounds turbocharged or something, doesn't it? Right. Yeah, Deutz Fars usually do go a little bit faster. Kind of looks like the regular game one. Oh, I need to turn off the red lights. Ah, you bugger. By the way, look, this is this guy's new job. I couldn't stop in time. That's right, I shut the map off. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this too. Oops, where am I going? So group 1, tractor 4. Alright, so I don't know if you notice, I know I mentioned it in another episode, see how the lights are flashing yellow now? We'll fill him up with some stuff. Let's go this way. That front entrance is pretty annoying. What I was going to mention is, see how I have day 4 up by the clock there now? So that's the real time. It's just after 10 o'clock, which means I do need to get to bed sometime here. Probably get these fields sprayed and then come back in the morning and finish up. This on just so I know when I'm there. This is kind of a little bit of a goofy situation. See, I'm not on the right thing. Yep. Alright, so let's refill. I'll stop the refill, and then I can switch to NPK, because I love to forget that. And then I can set this guy up. Let's go over to field 3, I think. Field 3, spray 24. And there we go. So we will be in good shape. We'll have 2 tractors spraying. But yeah, I thought it might help you guys as you're going through the video. Not to know the real time that I'm almost going to bed, but we're getting close to it. But the fact that it says day 4 in game, so you can follow along with the spreadsheet, you know, that it's Thursday. And I thought that would be a positive thing. Plus, the reason I even thought of this because I went back to go look at videos and, well, what day was I working on here? And, you know, so you can see we really are on day 4. Got little sprouts. I forget what we even planted there at this point. This guy started and then we can figure it out. Let's get the X. Unfolding. Yeah, I've never had 2 sprayers like this, but you know what? Like I said before, this map is about efficiency in real life terms. Drive course, nearest waypoint. Yeah, you go for it, buddy. Oh, no. Stop. Let's put them on a fertilizer course rather than just running around the field pointlessly. Oh, don't close the whole thing. Yeah, that's fine. Well, let's hop out here and take a look at where this field sits. Yeah, well, if you remember, we said we were going to get our moisture up to 57, and the number's really not that accurate. If you use the spreadsheet, you kind of have to round it, and if you also look, it's really not that critical. I think if you're below 80 and above 40 or something, you're in good shape, maybe even 30. So we'll get some actual nutrients, but you see we got slight alkalinity. Now that'll drop some more. Get down to, I think, 7 according to our little spreadsheet. And this field's really should be an identical shape. 4 and 4. Let me look to see how accurate. Yep, 4 and 4 is exactly what the spreadsheet says. So I do want to jump back over to field 2 and see what's going on there. Let's jump there and see. Yep, 5 and 4. Looking at the spreadsheet for field 2. On Thursday, we should be at 5 and 4. We should be at 7 on the pH, 7.1, close enough. I think I'm off with that. I think you actually you don't get 6, which is what I built this thing around. You get 0.7, and I think you get 0.9 instead of 0.8. So this will add some more moisture, but like when I see 60 moisture on there, I just consider that, to be 57. It's just close enough good enough for government work kind of thing. So there we go. So yeah, it makes sense. And see, watch what happens when we get towards the end of the field here. See how it gets to 6, and that's because we probably sprayed on that grass some, and so you kind of have to watch out for what you're reading. Put our dots on if you're not going to see much in the dots. But one thing you will notice, though, is that the tram lines themselves, that little spot that the tractors run over, that will build up over time. So one of the reasons I like to stick with the same, paths is so that those lines don't they're always off, but you're always running them over in theory, so it's pretty much about the best you can do. In other words, you'll see, I don't know if you can tell already, it'll be more and more obvious that, the crops aren't in the tram lines, and that moisture's, or the nutrients or whatever is off in that area. So that is, I think, a good part of what throws the numbers off, because it's doing some kind of averaging thing. This is good. We got 1 day of weed prevention left after today, and that'll mean that we will be harvesting this field tomorrow, so we should be in real good shape. So see, those dots are a little bit different color down there. That's what's throwing our numbers off when we get to the edge of the field. So there's our soil moisture dots. That's probably seems to be the least informative. And nitrogen, probably a pretty good number to see, but it should be pretty even at this point. I'll show you these dots a little bit later, when I find a good example of where you can really see something that's off. Let's go see how our other new tractor's doing. Spray it. Let's use the scroll wheel to zoom in. No complaints. Not sure if he turns as well as that other one, just from driving him that little bit. But let's see what our action shot looks like. Guy's got some funny elbows in there. He's a character. There we go. Alright, well, when I get done spraying, like I said, it'll probably be tomorrow morning in real life time. But I'll spray both of these fields and write down the numbers so we can continue to see how much it costs for the soil mod. And then I will I'll be back for you guys in a second. See you shortly. Hey guys, back again. As you can See from the real time at the bottom of the time display there, it's bright and early in the morning before work for me, and I'm sitting here with a rather ridiculously big tractor in a small field. But this is my cultivator, so what I've done is set up a course with 3 things. I'm kind of curious to see how this goes. There are a few trees in the way, but might as well get him rolling. So this field is field number 1, and I intend to plant sugar beets in it. So we will go get that tractor ready once we make sure he gets off to a good start here. Alright, well, hopefully he doesn't. I'm sure he'll do stuff. I'm going to have to clean up some corners, I'm sure. And if I come to here, this guy, oh, the grass. Yes, let me hop out here real quick while we're cut the grass field again. And a little bit surprised by the result, but we only got 115,000 grass from this field today. So I added that to the spreadsheet, which is, it's not half of what we got yesterday, but not much. Now, I'm kind of curious, too, because at this point, you know, we only have 2 nitrogen and 1 PK, so there's not much nutrients. There's no soil moisture. 6.2 is pretty darn low on the pH. So we're going to see. We might even get less tomorrow, what I guess is the prediction. So we'll see how low it can go. You know, but like I said, I'm kind of a little bit surprised by that. So I'm going to jump to... Yeah, this guy can do some work today. What is his... Sorry, I forget which tractor he is. He's a modded one, so I think he'll be down this end somewhere. 310 horsepower. And this thing, which is going to be ridiculously big as well for this field. Yeah, only needs 180. Okay. So we'll use that to plant some sugar beets. Which I already had pulled over here. And he's all filled up with sugar beets, so we'll take him out to field 1. Man, I do not believe I have a potato planter, either that or I lost track of it. Stick him off the road here. Alright, let's go and take a look here real quick. Got a big harvester. No, potato planters usually show up on this list earlier, than they don't go all the way to the back. So we'll go back to the shop and sewing machines, I think it is. Yep, and we'll get this big guy here. It's one of the reasons I did the smallest field, because this guy's annoyingly small. But I want to buy him. And I want to go back and then, just because I can, oops, too far. I think it's in tippers. This, I might try to find this. It's been a long time since I downloaded this Emsland portable seeds, Krone Emsland portable seeds. But I will buy one of him. Does he have a weight? No, I don't know if he doesn't. So let's get to, I guess I put this guy here. See how he does plant some potatoes. Probably not that great. I don't know if it turns all that well. Up to the shop. I know I need to. Yeah, he doesn't take long to do that field over there. We'll do little field 7 right over here to the right with the potatoes. If I'm right, yep, I can refill him right from here. Is there any? No options, just potatoes. And it takes him a while to fill up. So there we go. So sorry, I had to drink the coffee. So we'll get him going planting some potatoes here shortly. We got to get the cultivator guy out there onto the field, and then the final field will be some canola, which I can plant with the rapid seeder, which I think I still have some spare tractors here. This probably will need to be refilled. 7's not a big field. This really doesn't go too far. All right. How is this guy doing? Not the greatest, huh? Well, I'll come back and clean him up. And then I got this guy. And I think that other, yep, there's the other seeder. So get him filled with some canola and he can get right out there doing his thing. Seed in them. It's not seed, it's good chips. So, went right past it. There we go. Fill him all the way up, though he probably doesn't even really need that extra seed. Let's refuel the tractor while we're here, why not? Get rid of that now. Yeah, so things are going pretty well. Got a whole boatload of wood chips to sell at some point. Look at what the market did. This one will start right in this corner on this field. So we have first play. 9 is the right width. I remember I've used it enough recently. field 9. We're in the southwest corner. Want to head north. We're going to want at least 2 headlands, I would think. Might not even be enough, but we'll give it a shot. And let's what do I want to do? It's too early in the morning. Yeah, calculate. No, I want to do that. That's what I want to do. I knew there was something I was missing. Yeah, you gotta love this about them, huh? Alright, well anyway, we'll be ready when he's... I want to make sure he gets off to a good start. There he is. This guy's just about done. Didn't do the world's greatest job there, did he? Have to do. Well, I mean, I'll clean it up. That's the other guy over here. Yeah, he's waiting. So we're in good shape. Get these fields planted pretty quickly. I think I'm going to continue this. I obviously am not overly wordy at this moment. I'm sure all you guys don't mind watching a bit of it. And what I'll do is I'll get the sugar beets in this field, and once I clean up his mess a little bit, I'll move him over to field 7 to cultivate potatoes and get the potato planter, sugar beet planter going to this field. Guy seems to be successfully planting some canola over there. So we'll have that field ready, and I'll come back pretty much when we're ready to spray. Alright, see you in a bit. Guys, I just looked at the length of the video, and it's a bit long. I'm standing out here in field 7, or on the edge of field 7, and decided that I should probably cut the video here. Did want to point out, if you notice these lines, where it didn't plant any, I didn't go back over them because with the crop destruction, it hurts, like it will do more damage, like because the potato planter doesn't have a cultivator built into it. I end up with tram lines where I really don't want them, and not sure that it's beneficial. But at about this point, I realized that was going on. I was using that black Deutz-Fahr that we had bought earlier and switched over to actually using the T4. Let me show you. He's still attached. Yeah, I was using a little T4 to do it. And you can see as soon as he picked up, he didn't miss any spots. So I had a comment on one of my videos about going to the smaller Krone. Sometimes the smaller equipment is the right equipment for the job. It turns better, and therefore, using the course play, it does a better job. And again, I don't really blame that on that Deutz-Fahr. I know some people get upset if you don't like the tractor they do, and that's not it all it. I think it's a nice looking tractor. Just because it doesn't turn as well, it doesn't do as good a job. And until course play gives us better control over how the tractors turn, that's just kind of the way it is if you're going to use course play. So there you go. So anyway, the fields are all planted, and we'll be ready to come back and spray. I didn't want to rush things. I'd rather cut this video slightly shorter than normal and come back another day and I'll come back after work today. It's time for me to head out, 6:08. So, well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a good day. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.